Well, it looks like I'm not going anywhere for a while.
Yeah, let's see what's on TV.
I could go for a little bit of some Simpsons action today.
In on a friend known for his steals.
Mr. Grinch, I need your help.
The sign says no soliciting.
We have to tell Newville about Walmart's Black Friday deals.
November 25th to the 30th. I didn't even know it was November.
Yes?
What the heck? What else is on?
How can I ruin their holiday meals? They're truly despised, dill pickle seasoning on fries. They're all in for shocks when I stitch them on socks. So if you want to experience the Grinch's new meal...
What is this? Oh, come on. This is getting ridiculous now. I need to get something to eat. Stuff on TV is ridiculous, I tell you. What the... Have I simply become nothing more than a Christmas marketing whore?
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
Every Christmas, families get together to rekindle their love for each other. Even Santa Claus and his brother Fred.
Stop trying to have Mom call me, because I don't want to talk to Mom.
I've never done anything like that.
Have you ever said, oh, Mom's here, jump on and say hi, she's standing right here. Have you ever done that?
Not to my knowledge.
Right,
And
well,
I
you
feel
have.
like, no.
Yes, you have.
You shouldn't eat like that. You're going to tear something internally.
You've already torn something internally in me.
Wow.
How the reindeer doing?
They're good. They're good. Yeah, Rudolph has some kind of skin thing going on.
Why'd you get a
I'm
dog?
going to make it this year. Why don't I get a dog?
What are you going to do with the reindeer? Can't fetch his
Yeah, dogs can't fly.
Can't bark?
But a dog can't fly.
A wet Willie.
Stop it. A wet Willie.
You stop it. Step back like you're 5.
Just out of curiosity, whose house was that they recorded that trailer in? Because that is not at anyone's house in the movie. They just broke into somebody's house on one Christmas, not even Christmas Eve, just any night in 2006 and said, let's go ahead and film this trailer in here and then get the hell on out of here. I mean, that's what I feel like Santa and his brother did in that. Because, yeah, that is not in the movie whatsoever. That house does not exist at all. But, it's funny that they say this is from the director of Wedding Crashers, even though this trailer came out first in front of Happy Feet, which is a completely different film for anybody than Happy Feet. Happy Feet is a fun kids film with an existential message about life and all that. But Happy Feet's PG, Wedding Crashers is R. So I don't know what the hell they were thinking of putting that in there. But I digress. This is Fred Claus, and as you can see from the story, you have Vince Vaughn playing Fred Claus, the brother of Santa Claus, played by Paul Giamatti, and he's called in to help his brother at the North Pole when Santa realizes that his holiday is basically in danger of being shut down by this holiday inspector played by Kevin Spacey, and Vince Vaughn's brought in there to help things out, and he's got his mother played by Kathy Bates, and also there's elves played by John Michael Higgins, Elizabeth Banks. Fred's got a girlfriend played by Rachel Weisz. Ludacris is also one of the elves as well, and it's pretty much chaos all across the board, but a really good concept overall, a really fun idea that's actually based off of a poem called A Legend of Santa and His Brother Fred. But good idea, bad. It's not even bad execution, but lackluster execution, because it's not a bad movie per se. It isn't a bad movie by any means necessary. It does have an idea of what it's trying to accomplish here, and there's times when, the message is pretty good too. Like, even the naughty kids need to get something for Christmas that's a good thing to actually go to. That's a good thing to actually tell people about this in a movie like this. But when you watch the film, though, the biggest problem with this film is that it can't decide on which angle does it want to go with here. Does it want to be the screwball over-the-top Christmas comedy, or does it want to be a more heartfelt film, something on the lines of Arthur Christmas? And you get that they're trying to copy the Santa Claus formula. I mean, even the North Pole looks like something straight out of the Santa Claus. Like, if you had put the Santa Claus and then Fred Claus underneath it, like that was a subtitle for a Santa Claus movie, would you be able to tell the difference between this and the Tim Allen movies? Me personally, I couldn't tell you the difference, but yeah, this is definitely a very mixed bag of a movie. When I came out of it watching it for the first time, I was just kind of like, it's not bad. It's okay for what it is, but it is definitely a film that has a lot more that's kind of wrong about it than there is good about it. There are some good elements to it, but the tonal shifts are just all over the place. The comedy isn't really all that funny, and just splitting the differences between, this movie and the Santa Claus are just way too. It's hard to do here, and I don't know, the idea of making some of these big names elves, notable names like elves like John Michael Higgins, Elizabeth Banks, Ludacris, that doesn't really work here. And the Santa Claus had the advantage of they were all kids, so at least it makes sense why they're all little people, and that's why they're elves. Here, there's just no excuse. They're just there to be these faces that you might recognize, but they're elves this time around. And yeah, it's a very clustered movie and a cluttered mess all across the board. And there are times when the movie can be really funny and really clever. Like, there's a great bit towards the end of the movie where, Fred goes to the Siblings Anonymous meeting, and you see Frank Stallone, Sylvester Stallone's brother, and you also see Roger Clinton, Roger Clinton, the half-brother of Bill Clinton, and Stephen Baldwin, of course, part of the Baldwin family. Like, little scenes like that are really funny. Those are the moments where it's just like, okay, you got a good idea here, but I just wish there was more of that all throughout the film in general. But unfortunately, it just felt like a film that they just wanted to make because they wanted to make the next great Christmas classic. But unlike movies we talked about in the 2000s, like Christmas with the Cranks, Surviving Christmas, and Deck the Halls, there was a lot of ambition to this, and you could tell that they are indeed trying to make something fun and enjoyable and something that will stand as a holiday classic, but it's just not there with some of the great Christmas classics of all time, unfortunately. And at the time, the film was seen as kind of a bomb because it did cost $100 million to make. It didn't even make that back when it first came out. It only brought in $97 million worldwide, but, it's gone on to have a little bit of longevity because of it playing on Christmas so many times since then. You see it on AMC every holiday season now, but as far as the film itself goes, it's fine, I guess. It's right in the middle. Like, it's a movie where I can't say it's a great movie, but I can't say it's a bad movie either, because there are times when they are at least trying to do something fun and something unique with the idea. And it's a good concept overall, but just a mediocre execution all across the board that really just goes like, you guys were almost there, and you just couldn't do that one single thing to elevate this to a whole nother level. I mean, it's, like I said, it's not a bad movie by any means necessary, but it's not a movie that you're going to want to watch every Christmas or every couple, like, maybe once every 5 years. If there's literally nothing else on television during the holiday season, you could pop this on. It's like, I would watch this on a late night viewing before I go to bed. Like, if I'm watching AMC at like 2 a.m. on like a Wednesday night in December, and it's playing on TV and there's literally nothing else on, I'll pop it in there and watch it. I mean, like I said, it's not a bad movie, but just a film that feels like there's so much more that could have been done with it. But unfortunately, it's just not there for me to recommend it all the way through. So a very mixed opinion on Fred Claus. Like I said, not a bad Christmas movie, but definitely not one of the good ones that could be considered a holiday classic that you have to watch every year. So.
You got a name, home?
She did always like him articulate.
They celebrate the holidays like no one else. You were naughty last night.
Technically, yes. Ho, ho, ho.
This Wednesday,
Thank you. Welcome to the family.
Your new Escalade. Can I try that? This is not funny. No, it's not, but I'm going to keep drinking until it is.
This Christmas, rated PG-13, opens everywhere Wednesday.
So, like I said before, this is very much in the same vein as The Family Stone and Dan in Real Life. It's a movie where you have a family coming back together for the holiday season, and this time you have the Whitfield family, whose eldest has come home for the first time in 4 years. And you have a cast that includes Delroy Lindo, Idris Elba, Loretta Devine, Chris Brown, Columbus Short, Regina King, Keith Robinson, Laz Alonso, Sharon Leal, Lauren London, Mekhi Phifer, Jessica Stoop. I mean, there is a lot of talented people all across the board in this movie, and yeah, like I said before, the movie definitely very much is in the same vein as, you know, The Family Stone, Nothing Like the Holidays. In fact, the trailer literally is the same dialogue from the Family Stone trailer, where there's a part where, you know, the trailer announcer goes, "There's nothing like the holidays to bring the family together." And in this movie, in this trailer, it's literally the same thing. You know, they literally started off with, "There's nothing like the holidays that brings a family together." And yeah, it is literally a been there, done that type of movie before that we've seen done to death before so many times. This is a film that could easily have been just a generic, bland, in-your-face movie that could have been just so annoying and so not worth it, but it's those performances by these really damn good actors that really elevates this film to a whole nother level and makes it something that's pretty damn watchable and lovable to watch. I mean, I like watching this one a lot every holiday season. It's a movie that just features a lot of actors I really do like, a lot of great underrated actors in here. I mean, a lot of good talent all across the board here. And it's really funny stuff. It's a really good mix of comedy and drama, and a lot of great actors all across the board here. A lot of great music in this movie done by Neo. It is Neo. No, it's not Neo. It's Chris Brown. I'm thinking of what was the other? Wasn't there another Christmas movie that Neo was in? I got it confused. I thought Neo was in this film, but no, it's not. It's Chris Brown, and yeah, you see in the movie that the guy's still a pretty damn good singer, and they do a really good job of balancing out the comedy and the drama in here. And as I said before, like, if your movie can work because the performances are really selling it, then the movie can succeed on its own merits, and it definitely does in this case here. The performances in here are really strong all across the board. You really do get attached to every character involved in the movie, and it's very well done. It's a really engaging film that has a lot of things about it that I really do like about it. I like getting to know these characters a lot. I like seeing their trials and tribulations. I like the fact that everybody in here seems like realistic characters in any way, shape, or form, and it really helps when you have a very talented cast that can make this work overall. It's a movie I really do like watching every year. Like, I don't know what it is. It's what these movies in general. It could be like stuff like this, stuff like Nothing Like the Holidays. Every one of these movies is very much the same thing. It's the same formula over and over again. But because they have so many good people involved in the cast that can bring something new to it and do something that's a little bit different from other performances similar to other movies, that's where I think the movie can really shine in general. I think it's a very well-made film. A really good film over across the board. It's not a classic movie by any means necessary, and not really one of the best holiday movies ever, but considering that this is the season that gave us Fred Claus, I would rather take this movie over Fred Claus any day of the week. It's definitely a really good film. If you didn't get to see it this past holiday season, I highly recommend checking it out this holiday season, because it is definitely worth the watch in the end. So that is This Christmas.
I'm not cleaning that up.
This holiday season.
Kids are at Robin's.
Oh, Gabrielle Union.
When exactly did my kids become the Jackson 5?
I ain't being Michael.
Morris Chestnut.
Jizzy is Nancy's ex-husband.
Yeah, I knew that.
Man, how come you didn't tell me?
Charlie Murphy.
What about your Christmas album?
Look, we're gonna use the song right there.
I saw Mommy, Captain Santa Claus.
Cat Williams.
One Christmas in the air, brotherly love, the jingle ding-ding.
Faison Love.
I done told Brenda so many lies, I'm starting to believe them.
A bounty hunter?
You're an elf.
Terrence Howard and Queen Latifah.
Better watch out, Santa's coming to town.
On Wednesday, December 12th.
Listen, hey, I can't make it, okay? You're gonna have to fill in for me.
Get ready for the perfect holiday.
Yeah, it's not a very good sign if you're releasing a Christmas movie less than 2 weeks before Christmas. I mean, once in a while you get that movie that actually does work, like The Family Stone or The Muppet Christmas Carol, but 9 times out of 10, if you're releasing a movie a few weeks before Christmas that's not one that's being seen on television, chances are that it's not going to be a good movie. And sure enough, here's one where we have that type of a film where you have a movie that's a comedy starring Morris Chestnut, Gabrielle Union, Charlie Murphy, Cat Williams, Faison Love, Terrence Howard, and Queen Latifah. And Gabrielle Union plays a woman who wants for Christmas to meet a nice man. So when her little girl shares her smitten wish with a mall Santa, played by Morris Chestnut, he does his best to make her dreams come true in this delightful treat for the whole family to enjoy. I'm reading this off of IMDb, and this isn't me saying this and all, but I did want to say something about Faison Love. It's just like, you're already fat, dude. You don't need the fucking Santa suit on. But like, hey, it's their idea of comedy, and comedy is in quotation marks comedy, because this ain't that much of a comedy, and not even that good of a movie in general. It's a bland movie. Like, it's a movie that I feel like is one of those movies that, it has the PG rating overall, but they're clearly not watching this movie at the MPAA, because there's nothing about this movie that's PG. It puts it in the same category as something like, My Little Pony the movie or Inside Out 2. Just one of the many problems with the MPAA in general. But on top of that, the movie itself just isn't all that good. It's a pretty bland movie that has nothing of value to it whatsoever. It really has no idea what type of a film it wants to be, or what kind of a Christmas movie it wants to be overall. And it doesn't help that these people can usually turn in a very good performance overall, but even a movie like this, it's not enough to save the film, because I don't even think the movie really knows what its main story should be in general. It just feels so cluttered. There's nothing about it that's hilarious. I mean, the names in this movie are so bland and forgettable. Like, you have a P. Diddy knockoff, but guess what his name is? Jay Jizzy. Like, that's the level of intelligence that this movie has. This is a film that should have been seen on Lifetime or BET. It should not have been blown up on the big screen like this. And yeah, it's a film that came and went. It was largely forgotten. And unlike those movies that opened up after Christmas that I mentioned, Muppet Christmas Carol and The Family Stone, which are good movies, this thing came and went, and it shows nothing of value whatsoever. And yeah, for some reason, it still shows up on the 25 Days of Christmas on Freeform every year, which I don't know why. Like, that time slot could be saved for much better movies and specials than this pile of garbage here. Yeah, this is a direct-to-video movie blown up for the big screen, or something that should have been just shown on Lifetime or BET, but no, they put it on the big screen because this young company, Yari Film Group, thought they were going to have their next big Christmas classic that's going to be shown every year and make a lot of money, and no, didn't do any of that whatsoever. So avoid the perfect holiday like it's like the plague. So.
It's the all-new feature-length animated movie Tom and Jerry on Nutcracker Tale. Enjoy a winter wonderland of fun as your favorite cat and mouse chase goes into the land of toys and beyond, with new and old friends along the way. Don't miss this magical holiday treat that will have everyone dancing with sugar plums in their head.
I wouldn't say this one got sugar plums dancing in my head, but I'll tell you this much. It's definitely one of the better adaptations of the Nutcracker, which really isn't saying a whole lot, because I've said before, it's apparently really hard to make a really good version of the Nutcracker. The only ones who have really succeeded in getting it right was, of all things, this. And if you want to even get close to a legitimate adaptation of the story, probably maybe the 1993 Nutcracker movie with Macaulay Culkin. And even then, that's not a great version, but this is a semi-adaptation of the story in which Jerry is in the role of the Nutcracker and Tom is in the role of one of the Mouse King's henchmen. And it's a really bizarre concept, because it starts off with Jerry and Tuffy, the little mouse he's always with. Because he sometimes goes as Tuffy or Nibbles, but I think in here he's Tuffy. But they're watching a Broadway musical production of the Nutcracker, and out of nowhere, the thing just transforms into the Nutcracker as a whole, and all of a sudden, everybody is involved in this, including Tom and this group of cats that are involved in here. And it is an impressively put together little film. It's a really impressive animated feature film that's made direct to video, and it really does play to the strengths of what Tom and Jerry works so well. It's definitely one of the better modern Tom and Jerry productions as a whole. And I really think it helps that you have these two directors, Spike Brandt and Tony Cervone, who have done a lot for Warner Brothers. But when it comes to Tom and Jerry and the Looney Tunes, they really do have a good idea of what these characters represent, how to make them work in a movie. And anytime they're involved in a project, I'm usually there right from the get-go because they are so good at their jobs at it. And this is definitely one of those movies that really shows that and plays to the strengths of how well they know the characters of Tom and Jerry. This isn't a movie where they're side characters in their own movie. They're not starring in a film where the big story is not about Tom and Jerry. It's about saving this little girl from her evil aunt and her accomplice from getting daddy's money and all that stuff. No, none of that. It's not a movie like the Tom and Jerry live action movie where the animated Tom and Jerry stuff is good, but they have to play second banana to this bland story with Chloe Grace Moretz. No. This is Tom and Jerry playing to the strength of Tom and Jerry. Like, you get the classic Tom and Jerry gags in here with a good adaptation of the Nutcracker. I mean, like I said, it's not the best version of it, but then again, it's also kind of the best version of it considering how other bad adaptations of the story have been. And quite honestly, I don't think we'll ever see a good version of the Nutcracker. If Disney can't even make it work with Nutcrackers in the Four Realms, then you know that this story is going to be really, really hard for anybody to come in and make it work. And Tom and Jerry, they're one of the few ones that actually got it right. So you got to give them points for that. So not much more to say about that one, but Tom and Jerry and a Nutcracker Tale. That would be a much different movie in general. But Tom and Jerry, a Nutcracker Tale, I thought it was pretty good. So.
Hey, Dad.
Mom, hey.
Listen, Mom, I got bad news. We're not going to be
Hi,
able to make it
Dad,
tomorrow.
it's me.
No one was more upset than we were last year that you got to do it and deal with the situation.
Every year, Brad and Kate spend the holidays avoiding their families.
No flights are coming in and no flights are going out.
This isn't happening. Do you have a sister airline?
No, I'm sorry. How about a cousin airline? No, we don't. How about like an airline that your airline's felt up before?
But this year,
where are you headed for the holidays?
They'll be forced to celebrate.
Hi, Mom.
It's my dad.
They just saw us on the news.
With all of them.
Okay, he's gonna give you a big hug when he sees you, Mom.
I'm not hugging anybody.
He's very excited about the hug.
From New Line Cinema.
We just got to get through these 4 Christmases as quickly and as painlessly as possible.
Merry Christmas, Mom.
Hey, Dad.
Good to see you, Mom. Merry Christmas, Dad. Hey, these are my brothers, Denver and Dallas. You must be Orlando's girl.
Orlando?
We're all named after the cities that we were conceived in.
That's disgusting.
Oh, my God.
4 families.
Bradley, I'm not trying to be your father. I'm hoping for a chance to be your friend.
Well, you were my friend. You were my best friend. But now you're sleeping with my mom, and it's a little bit weird for me.
One day.
That's you?
Mom, did you put that on the mantle?
I love that photo.
You look huge.
I ate my feelings, Brad.
She must have had a lot of bad feelings.
No mercy.
You left me in the jump to die.
I thought you were waving at me like, hey, I'm getting past my fears. What would cross my mind over this to think that you could possibly be getting shanked by 4-year-olds?
How can you really appreciate someone for who they are unless you know them?
My brothers, they're trained UFC fighters.
Soldier boy! Soldier boy!
He's a sissy.
All they want for Christmas.
I just got to adjust it. Hold the damn thing. Too much.
Is an exit strategy. Vince Vaughn, Reese Witherspoon.
Hello. Did Jags a projectile?
Tell him about it.
4 Christmases.
You gotta get out of here. I can't breathe. I want to do it too.
I mean, Jesus. I mean, I knew this movie wasn't that great back then, but man, I forgot how terrible this movie really is. Because, okay, this isn't Deck the Halls or Christmas of the Cranks kind of bad, but it's a type of bad that I've kind of talked about with other Christmas movies around this time period. But this is a story, as you can see from the trailer. Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon are a couple who must travel to 4 family parties after their vacation plans get canceled due to dense fog, and basically a nosy reporter who apparently wants to fuck around with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, because not only does this at the beginning of the movie, she does this again at the end of the movie. Like, just finds the one couple that just happens to be Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, and yeah, you can see where the problems start to come into play here. This movie pretty much has everything that's wrong with a lot of these late 2000s Christmas movies. They feel fabricated by the studios. The heart is not clearly in them. They're just there so that they can be out. They can make money at first, and then even if they don't make money, don't worry, they're still going to make a ton of money when they start playing them on TV over the next 15 years, which Four Christmases, sure enough, has definitely become one of those movies. You see it every year on AMC, and, yeah, needless to say, this thing is not held up well, and you can see from the trailer how bad this movie is. I mean, this is not a funny movie at all. With the one exception, I like the subplot where Vince Vaughn's best friend is actually dating his mother, played by Sissy Spacek, which I thought that was actually one of the funnier moments in the movie, where, you know, Vince Vaughn is so detestable of this guy that he used to call his friend, and it's just like, you know, we were best friends, and then he started banging my mother, pretty much. Like, that's a good funny moment in there, and there is even a legitimate heartfelt moment between Jon Voight and Reese Witherspoon as father and daughter. That subplot overall is pretty good. The other two subplots, though, not so much. Robert Duvall, and of course Jon Favreau, and I think that's Tim McGraw as the other brother. Mary Steenburgen, and Kristen Chenoweth usually is very funny, but even she can't save this. I mean, things just happen in this movie for the sake of things to happen so that we can move a plot along here. You never feel like there's anything that's making this worthy of a Christmas movie. In fact, if this movie had not been called Four Christmases, you could have called this anything else. Like, you could have called it Four Birthdays. Like, everybody has 4 different birthdays in the same month. Or maybe like with my family, we have like 5 different birthdays in the month of March. So we have to get together at some point. But our family is at least smart enough to make it once at one time, and not have it be 4 separate events overall. But yeah, this film is not that good. In fact, it's not even that great overall. I mean, I didn't hate it back then, but as time has gone on, and I finally got to watch this again a couple of years ago, I started realizing that, yeah, this puppy ain't working, man. I mean, Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon are trying their best to save it, but again, like most bad comedies, they aren't given a lot of funny things to work with here. I mean, the crux of the jokes in that trailer, oh, the baby spit up and Vince Vaughn's got a gag reflex. It's just like, come on, man. I mean, really? Like, I don't know, man. I just did not like this movie at all. Like, I liked it back then, but, man, it has not held up well over time whatsoever. It's a lame movie, man. And a prime example of the late 2000s Christmas movies that were clearly just made so they could get them out there, so they can be seen as holiday classics, when they're really not. Nobody's going to watch this every year like you're going to watch A Christmas Story every year, like It's a Wonderful Life, or Home Alone, or Elf, or The Polar Express. Far better movies than this movie right here. This is like Fred Claus, or the worst Christmas comedies, Christmas with the Cranks, Deck the Halls, where it shows up on your TV every year, and Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon are just packing on the residuals for every time it plays on TV every other day during the month of December, which this movie has done that, and then some. I know it was like that last year, but bottom line, this movie is not that good, so yeah, avoid Four Christmases like the plague. See better Christmas movies out there. I would even say see Fred Claus again. Fred Claus was at least trying to do something. This is just a movie that felt like it was just etched together at the last minute. Like I said, not Christmas with the Cranks or Deck the Halls bad, but pretty lame overall. So that's Four Christmases.
You know what would be a great Christmas present for my parents? If they told me we were trying to have a baby.
A baby?
When am I gonna have grandchildren? My mother had 10 at my age.
You guys should be up to 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 kids.
Does your plumbing work?
There's nothing like the holidays.
Merry Christmas!
Say cheese!
It's a time for family.
25 years I've been begging you to cut down that ugly tree, and all of a sudden you gotta do it right now?
Hey, careful, stand back. You overcompensate a little bit, Dad. What? You got a little thingy.
It's a time for sharing.
I lost my virginity on that couch.
Me too.
Oh, ew. Oh,
Ew, you. In your underwear.
It's a time to be thankful.
I love you guys so much.
It only happens once a year.
Why is everybody fighting?
And they're not fighting, we're conversating. There's something I like to say. I'm leaving your father.
Come on, stop there. You can't. You're old.
You realize that this is probably the last Christmas that we'll spend together?
Why don't we do something? Let's go take that tree down now. Yeah.
What were you thinking?
You wanted a view. I was going to give you a view.
Family is the one thing.
I just want to enjoy Christmas with my family. Not that they make it so easy.
Everyone can relate to.
She's never going to forgive that you dropped them. We could be friends, bro.
We can be friends. That's white people.
Lean on me, yeah. When you're not strong. Anna, you're the only woman I've ever loved. I'll be your friend.
Sometimes you feel like you don't want the same things anymore, but you stick it through. And at the end of that, you fall in love all over again.
Nothing like the holidays.
Are you going to put money down on your husband that he seriously hurts himself? Thank you. Put it down. Go to your room.
Not really. I mean, yeah, you can see from the trailer, it's a very standard formula from the movies that we've kind of talked about before. You got your Family Stone, your Dan in Real Life, your This Christmas. I mean, it's very much a very similar movie to that. And yeah, that could easily hurt the film from the get-go, but hey, you got a good cast in here, and they are able to make it work, all things considered. You have a story, and it has a unique little twist to it, too. And it's not just the same movie we've seen done before. But in this one, you have a Puerto Rican family living in the area of Humboldt Park, Chicago, facing what may be their last Christmas together. And the family includes Alfred Molina and Elizabeth Pena as the mother and as the father and as the husband and wife, and you have all these other family members: Luis Guzman, John Leguizamo, Deborah Messing, Alfred Molina, Freddie Rodriguez, Vanessa Felito, Jay Hernandez, and Melanie Diaz. So a pretty good cast overall in here, and yeah, it definitely has a lot of the same stuff that we've seen done before in other movies. I mean, we've seen a lot of the same elements are here. There's somebody who dies in the movie, and I'll give them credit for actually putting together a pretty good twist, because they do a pretty good job of telling you, not in the trailer, what exactly is the big twist in here. Yeah, somebody is going to die, but the way that they set it up here, they basically set it up because they think that one person is cheating on the other, and that's what the setup is, but they do a pretty good job of kind of like not making it not making it too obvious for you to figure out right away. But what makes the movie work for me, per se, is the casting. I think this is a really good, talented cast coming together here. I mean, you got great people all across the board in here, really putting their heart and soul together for this, and they do feel like a real family in here. Everybody in here plays their parts very well. You can tell that everybody in here, our brother is our family. Like, you can buy them as a family unit all together, and it works very well. It does a very good job of lifting your spirits up, and yeah, it may be very formulaic in the story department, but as I've always said before, like, a story can be very formulaic, but if you're putting to get your best effort into other things like the performances or maybe even the dynamics of the story changing around a little bit here, you can honestly get it up a notch to make it something that actually is worth it in the end. And I think this is something that's worth it. It's definitely the weaker of these movies. I would still rather watch Family Stone, This Christmas, or Dan in Real Life over this, but I didn't hate it. I actually did kind of enjoy it for what they did, for what they were able to accomplish here, and how good the acting is overall in here. And again, I do really like the twist they pull on you in this movie, because it's a twist that you can kind of start to see coming when we get closer to it, but it's not done in the way that you would expect it to do. And I think the performances regarding that twist overall, when they actually reveal what it is, are very well done. And you can understand why that person's trying to hide it and just keep it together during the holiday season. Everybody in this movie is great. Like, it's great to see Alfred Molina and, the late Elizabeth Pena in here, playing the patriarch and matriarch of the family. And you really do buy that they are a couple that still like each other, even though one is kind of distancing themselves from the other in this particular case here. But like I said, everybody plays their parts really well in here. The relationships they build in here are nicely done. It's just it's an entertaining movie. And I said that stuff like The Family Stone and Dan in Real Life and This Christmas kind of started this trend overall. It really began with Home for the Holidays in 1995, which I think it's still one of the best underrated Thanksgiving movies you'll ever see. If you never saw that movie, directed by Jodie Foster, starring Holly Hunter, Robert Downey Jr., and Anne Bancroft among its cast, definitely check that one out, because that's the one I would say, watch that one first, then go into the other ones. There really has not been a bad one of these movies in general. Most of them have been pretty formulaic, but they get by because the performances carry it all the way through. And this is one where, yeah, a lot of it is very formulaic, a lot of it's been there, done that, but because the performances carry it through, and it does throw those little twists and turns in there, it makes it kind of worth it in the end. So, mixed opinion, but my thumb is leaning towards it being up more than it is being down. I like it. It's one that every once in a while I'll put it on during the holiday season, but it's not one you're going to want to watch every single year, though. It certainly is a lot better than the other Christmas film outing this year, Four Christmases, I'll give you that, but really, that's not really saying a whole lot. But anyway, that's Nothing Like the Holiday. It is another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the 5 films released on November 6, 2009. And since Halloween has come and gone, it means that you're going to hear, for the next 7 weeks, you're going to hear these 2 magical words.
Ah! A bug.
Not the words I was expecting to hear, or I was expecting maybe a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, but geez, what a Scrooge. That's probably the most I've gone to open up a movie ever, and I regret that decision. So let's just go ahead and get to the biggest release of the weekend, and that is, of course, Jim Carrey starring in Robert Zemeckis' adaptation of A Christmas Carol.
What do you want with me?
You will be haunted by 3 spirits. I'd rather not. I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Haunt me no longer!
What if you were given a second chance to get your life right? This holiday season, the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future
Get away! Get away!
will give one man that chance. This November, Walt Disney Pictures and Image Movers Digital invite you to experience the classic tale like you've never seen it before in Disney Digital 3D and IMAX 3D. Disney's A Christmas Carol.
I don't think I need to tell you what the story of A Christmas Carol is. If you haven't even read The Christmas Carol story by Charles Dickens, or if you've never watched the show before, which I've covered this several times, then I'd like to welcome you back out of that rock you've been hiding in for the last couple of years. But short and simple, story of Ebenezer Scrooge as he's being haunted by 3 spirits in order to uplift his Christmas spirit and basically get him on the right track to his life around. You know, he treats people around him so shamefully, and one night he's visited by his former partner, Jacob Marley, a partner who works with him at the counting house, and he says, "You'll be haunted by 3 spirits, the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future," all played by Carrey in this movie. And the film, of course, uses motion capture animation, same kind that was used in the Polar Express. This is the third time Disney has taken on the Christmas Carol storyline. Mickey's Christmas Carol, The Muppet Christmas Carol. It's the first Carrie film in a Disney movie, and it's also his second Christmas movie after How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And, of course, Robert Zemeckis also gave us The Polar Express, which was also a big holiday hit in the decade. One of the few holiday hits we had in this decade. So yeah, this is overall pretty much the same basic story of A Christmas Carol instead of following the previous adaptations in the last 30 years. This one basically follows the original story, which kind of surprised me when I heard that it was actually written as kind of a horror story, which is really what you need going into this movie. This movie can get pretty intense at times. I mean, there's definitely moments in here that are just so creepy in here. I mean, yeah, it's definitely one where, yeah, that PG rating that this has, there's definitely a reason why that PG rating is there. It's just like, don't expect to go in there looking for a cheerful, happy movie. No, be prepared for something that's a little bit more intense than you think it is, because it definitely is a more intense movie. I mean, there's times in this movie that will have you jumping out of your seats, but it will creep you the fuck out. I mean, one scene in particular that still kind of haunts me a little bit to this very day is like when the Ghost of Christmas Future comes, and he's a shadow throughout much of it, and sitting in a movie theater watching it in 3D, he's riding, as you see the ghost riding around in like a shadow. You see it's basically a shadow of a horse carriage, and it looks like a normal shadow, but then the horse, like, it's looking this way at first, but then it slowly comes right at you. Like, it's a 3D movie, so it's literally looking at you. I was pushed back in my seat the first time I saw it. It was just like, holy shit. Like stuff like that. Of course, the scene where the Ghost of Christmas Present dies is pretty traumatic, too. I mean, this thing is not playing it straight, but playing it straight by any means necessary. And that's what I kind of love about this movie, is that it doesn't go for the sweet, simple storyline here. It goes for a little bit more of a closer feel to the adaptation to the original book overall. And for that, I got to give it a lot of points for that. I really love this one. This is probably one of my favorite versions of A Christmas Carol. I mean, you got Robert Zemeckis, one of my all-time favorite directors, doing this. Doing a very good job overall. I think Jim Carrey does a very good job as Scrooge and the Three Ghosts. And the rest of the cast overall is really good. You've got Gary Oldman playing Bob Cratchit here. He's always going to give you somewhat of a good performance. And he's really good in this. I mean, regardless if he's playing it straight or over the top. Because there's times in this movie where he plays different characters. He plays Cratchit, and he also plays Jacob Marley. Cratchit's good. Marley is where he really goes over the top with it. And it's supposed to be scary, but it really is not. It really comes off as like, what are you doing? Like the whole thing with him, with his elongated jaw, and he's just like, mankind was my business. Like, that type of stuff gets on your nerves pretty quickly. And it's just like, you didn't need to do that. Bob Hoskins is very good in here, playing Fezziwig. Colin Firth, Robert Penn, they're pretty good in here too. But really, it's Jim Carrey leading the charge here, and he does a really good job of handling that. I thought the motion capture overall was really good. I think it's definitely a lot better than it was in Beowulf. And, this was probably the last good time that the motion capture really comes to play here. Because following that, we have Mars Needs Moms, which was the film that literally killed this company of Image Movies Digital before it really got going. I mean, Christmas Carol was really their one shot to show everybody that, hey, this is what the future of animation is going to look like. And then you follow up with Mars Needs Moms, and it's just like, okay, never mind. Yeah, we're shutting you down. The biggest argument about motion capture animation is that the whole purpose is to give an animated character a performance of a real live actor. Well, if that's the case, then why not just do it with real live actors? I mean, you could still have Carrey as Scrooge and the Three Ghosts and still make a live action movie. I mean, Night at the Museum of 3 came out about 5 years after that, and they had a scene where Ben Stiller's not only playing Larry Daly, but he's playing one of the cavemen who thinks he's his father. And that's something that you could do in a movie like that. But it's something you could do in a movie like this as well. But I mean, I was glad to see that Robert Zemeckis did get back to live action form after that with A Flight and The Walk, which I thought were really good movies overall. And again, the story overall is really well done. You could see that they're trying to follow Dickens' original concept for the story, which is supposed to be his ghost story, something you rarely see in the adaptations. I mean, there are creepy elements, and they really are. The departure of Ghost of the Christmas Present, the stuff with the Ghost of Christmas Future. I mean, this is definitely stuff you wouldn't expect to see in a Disney version of this. Maybe in the more adult versions, but not for Disney. And I like the fact that Disney went dark when they needed to. But at the same time, it does go a little bit too far, but never to the point where I would say that it ruins the film overall. But the film overall is really good, and seeing it in 3D was really great to see. Like, there's a great part where the Ghost of Christmas Present takes Scrooge out of his home, and he's lifting the floor that they're in, and it literally feels like you're on somewhat of a ride, because you go from the house to an overview shot of the city of London, and it's really well done. Like, in 3D, you feel like you're there. You feel like you're right there as it happens. And that, you got to give the movie its proper credit overall for that. But not only that, though, it does have some good emotional moments. I think the one that everyone really talks about with this movie is the part where, you know, during the Ghost of Christmas Future segment, you know, of course, Tiny Tim has to die in that part. And there's a part where Bob Cratchit is trying to keep it together in front of his family, which he does. But then as soon as he gets upstairs, not knowing that Scrooge and the Ghost of Christmas Present are right there, and Scrooge is just like literally standing right in front of Bob Cratchit, and you just look at Cratchit, he's completely, like, he's been crying, and it makes sense because that's his son is dead, and he's just looking straight at Scrooge, and Scrooge can't go anywhere else. He has to look at what his actions have done to this guy and his kid, and it's just like, stuff like that really makes this one hold up more, because that's just such a great scene. Doesn't have to use any dialogue. It's just one single scene, two shots. One of Cratchit looking straight at Scrooge, the other Scrooge looking straight at Cratchit. Scrooge has nowhere to go. He just has to look at this. I mean, that right there, stuff like that makes this movie worth it. It's not the best adaptation of the story. I think Scrooge and Mickey's Christmas Carol are better retellings of the story, but this is still a really good movie. It is one of the stronger adaptations of my favorite story of all time. The performances are great, the visuals are nicely done, the animation is great, and the story recaptures Dickens' original version of the story to a T. It's a really good adaptation of the tale, and I think it deserves a lot more attention. It's one I watch every Christmas. It's a great, great adaptation. It's probably my favorite overall Christmas movie of this decade. Now, I know Elf and the Polar Express are much more beloved, as well as The Grinch, but this is the one I always go back to. Like, every holiday season, I have to watch this at least once. So, yeah, I really like this one a lot. Disney's A Christmas Carol, so...
That city. It's my city before the Rat King took it from me.
His kingdom was overthrown. A curse was cast upon him, and he was banished from his world forever.
Merry Christmas, Newton. Meet MC.
Until one magical night, he discovered someone who could change everything.
Hello, Mary. You can talk. I've been waiting for someone like you.
I mean, good fucking lord. This is, consider that the beginning of the nightmare fuel that's in this movie, because holy mother of God, this was bad. Now, as we've seen on this show, it is apparently very, very hard to make a Nutcracker movie that actually isn't a terrible piece of shit. I mean, if Disney can't even make a good Nutcracker movie with Nutcracker in the Four Realms, then you have no reason to make a Nutcracker movie ever again. That's how bad it is. If Disney can't save it, then there's no saving it whatsoever. Like, every studio has tried so hard to try to make a Nutcracker movie work. And it says a lot when the best versions are ones that feature either the Care Bears, Tom and Jerry, or the Macaulay Culkin one where he's not even saying anything, and it's just a Broadway stage production of it, the '93 movie. But this right here, this has to be the absolute worst version you could ever see in your entire life. The story doesn't seem like it's anything that different. It's set in 1920s Vienna and follows a young girl played by Ellie Fanning who receives a magical doll that is revealed to be the prince and embarks on an adventure to save his kingdom from the Rat King. So, okay, it sounds like the story of the Nutcracker. But no, this movie can't do that. We have to be different with this, because not only do we have this in 3D, which means that nightmare fuel is going to be literally coming right at you while you're sitting in this, but they decided to do... this movie decides to go in the direction of adapting the Tchaikovsky score into lyrical musical numbers, and I kid you not, the artistic direction to allude to World War II and the freaking Holocaust and make the rats reminiscent of Nazis, with John Turturro with this abysmal rat makeup, that literally there are times in the movie when he turns into a rat, and that is even more nightmare fueled. Like, what the hell were they thinking when they made this movie? And not only that, this has a $90 million budget on this. They spent $90 million on this. What? Who made this movie? Well, it's Andrei Konchalovsky, who, hey, he had a promising start to his career when he made Runaway Train back in the 1980s, and then he followed it up with stuff like Shy People, and then Homer and Eddie, and then Tango and Cash, which that movie was met with its own production problems. But, hey, this has also got songs written by Tim Rice? That Tim Rice? The Tim Rice that wrote songs for Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin and the Lion King? What is happening with this movie? Like, this is a disaster. This is one of the worst things you could possibly imagine. This is, you know, I know, like, I don't like going back to the King's Speech and all that, but the King's Speech, I at least get why people will find that movie appealing. I don't know who the fuck they were thinking that this movie was going to appeal to. And the fact that you spent nearly $100 million on this and thinking that you were going to make this back, I hope they killed everybody who made this, who financed this movie. Like, I hope they literally burned them at the stake like the Salem witch trials. It's just like, no, because you deserve to never, ever say any ideas ever again. Like, this is an abysmal disaster of a film that wastes too many good talents in here. Ellie Fanning, you see Nathan Lane in the trailer, John Turturro, Richard E. Grant. Just, oh my god, this... I'm baffled. I'm absolutely 100% baffled on how this thing became a reality, and how somebody at Freestyle thought, this is a great idea, let's make it, why not? And, yeah, then they realized after they saw the movie, oh, now I see why we shouldn't have made this movie. I got nothing else for you. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Avoid this one like the plague. If you even see this in front of you and somebody says, hey, you want to watch this movie? Punch that dude in the face and then grab a flamethrower and burn that disc, because nobody should have to be forced to watch this pile of garbage. This is a bad, bad movie. So... oh, what an eventful week this was. I can tell you that much. Need a drink after that one. Oh, what a week that was. What a way to finish. But, Merry Christmas in July as I'm recording this. It's literally July 19th. But, hey, Christmas in July. And by the way, we have that here on the channel. Christmas in July. Check out those videos. I'll leave the playlist link down below so you can check that out. But, I have the hat on because today on Time About the Movies, we are taking a look at Christmas weekend 2010. It's weekend, of course, of Christmas, and all through the movie industry, creatures were stirring. Some real bad stinkers, too, including the big new release of the holiday season, the third installment in the Meet the Parents series, Little Fockers, which... that's going to be a trip to talk about. But we do have some good stuff, too. Aside from the lump of coal, of course, we have the Coen brothers with their remake of True Grit with Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon, Josh Brolin, and a young little star named Haley Steinfeld, who was pretty good in the movie, but I don't think she's really gone on to do anything of significance. What the hell was that wink? But I'm already wasting your time on this intro. We have Jack Black in the big screen comedy adaptation of Gulliver's Travels. We have Sofia Coppola's latest film, Somewhere, and we have Gwyneth Paltrow starring in Country Strong. It's Christmas weekend 2010. It's Time About the Movies. I'm already wasting a lot of your time. Let's just get to the show.
Hey, parents. Are you still physically attracted to my daughter, Greg?
Yes, it's all good under the hood.
You've met his parents.
What is it, Grandpa Granny?
Jack, just up your leg. But if you think you've seen it all...
I want you to represent our new drug.
It's erectile dysfunction medicine.
Do you mind explaining this? You're in for a big surprise.
You've had that for more than 4 hours, you gotta get a shot.
There's no way I'm going to ER room at this thing. Little Fockers. Rated PG-13.
Oh, this movie. Welcome to Time About the Movies. Today we are taking a look at the 5 films of December 24th, 2010. Christmas weekend, of course, and the biggest new release of them all is Little Fockers, the third installment of the Meet the Parents series, which the decade started off with Meet the Parents back in 2000, and it was a massive hit. Meet the Fockers ended up being a bigger hit 4 years after that, and we had to wait only 6 years between those movies to eventually get to this film, not made by the same people who made the last 2 movies, except John Hamburg, the writer of those 2 movies, back for this one. But other than that, though, it's mostly new people, except for the cast, of course. Main players are back in town here, and a couple of new additions here, and some people who weren't planning to be in this movie, but they pushed them back in anyway. This is one of those movies that had one of those bizarre production histories behind it, and yeah, it's definitely one we're talking about. It has taken 10 years, 2 little Fockers and his wife Pam, and countless hurdles for Greg to finally get in with his tightly wound father-in-law Jack. After the cash-strapped dad takes a job moonlighting for a drug company, however, Jack's suspicions about his favorite male nurse come roaring back. While Greg and Pam's entire clan, including Pam's lovelorn ex Kevin, played by Owen Wilson, descend for the twins' birthday party, Greg must prove to the skeptical Jack that he's fully capable as the man of the house. But with all the misunderstandings, spying, and covert missions, will Greg pass Jack's final test and become the family's next patriarch, or will the circle of trust be broken for good? What do you think is going to happen in this really pointless sequel where it literally has no reason to exist except for the fact that they want a trilogy so bad for this movie, and boy, they struggled to get it. Let me tell you, you wouldn't think that this movie had that many problems behind the scenes, but nope, this thing had a huge production problem. Maybe not quite as bad as How Do You Know, which also starred Owen Wilson, which we talked about last time, but let's put it this way. The film was originally scheduled for July 2010. They pushed it back to December, later revealed to be deliberately delayed only because it was, at the time, the delay announcement that the character of Dustin Hoffman was coming back to play the role. However, they didn't announce that until way into August. A trailer had already dropped for this movie in June, and there was no mention of Dustin Hoffman's character returning, so they had to reshoot everything to get Dustin Hoffman back in here. And then, in addition to both Robert De Niro and Ben Stiller basically getting $20 million for the role, the budget on this skyrocketed to $100 million for this movie. A Meet the Parents movie should not cost $100 million. I don't care what happens here. Nothing happens in a Meet the Parents movie that warrants that big of a budget. And yeah, it made its money back. It made $310 million worldwide, but it was still the lesser of the 3. It was still made less than the previous movies, and it was panned by critics. And not only panned, destroyed by them. I mean, this movie, I've been building this one up for a while now because it is definitely one of the worst sequels you will ever see in your life. It's one of those movies where they don't have a good story. They have they have little ideas and things that they build up and establish, but they never take the time to fully expand on the story. They start it and then it just pushes it aside. Laura Dern's character is the character played by Laura Dern. There's a subplot where she plays the head of this school, and Greg's trying to get his kid in there, and you think that's going to be a big subplot. Never gets mentioned again. Harvey Keitel stars in this movie. You think he's going to have a big role in here? Never mentioned again. Dustin Hoffman, like I said, coming in here, you think that they're making a big deal about him coming in here. He barely shows up in this movie, Like, it really would have been better if he had just not showed up altogether. Like, you would have just said, Dustin Hoffman's character's off somewhere. Like, he's off in Narnia or something like that. I don't know, Narnia or something like that. Because his character really does not add anything to this movie, per se. The whole thing about this movie is repeating the same goddamn tropes we had the last time around. Because the last 2 movies, Ben Stiller had to earn Robert De Niro's trust. He did it twice. And now for some reason, we got to do it again. And, Jack's got to have this plan to, be his successor to the family. And he decides to pass the role to Greg, naming him, you know what's coming if you've seen this movie, The Godfucker. The Godfucker. That's even worse than Robert De Niro imitating Taxi Driver in the Rocky and Bullwinkle movie. That was bad, but that at least had a point to it. This, there's no excuse for this. There's also no excuse for the bad attempts at comedy in here. Gross out comedy too. There's poop jokes. There's jokes of people getting cut. There's a lot of screaming. There's a scene you see a little bit in the trailer there where Robert De Niro has to have Ben Stiller stick a needle in his penis because he took an erectile dysfunction drug, and with the kid watching him and all that, it caused him to break his arm. Funny stuff, right? I know. But, yeah, this movie is an ungodly mess of a movie. But nothing pales in comparison to the worst thing about this movie, and that is Jessica Alba. It's hard to believe that nearly 10 years ago she had this promising career with Dark Angel, and then she started Honey, and then she was in the Fantastic Four. But ever since then, it's been nothing but crap after crap after crap. Into the Blue, Good Luck Chuck, Awake, The Eye, The Love Guru, but this right here may be the worst of the worst, because not only is she playing a pointless character who's there to be a third wheel that Ben Stiller wants nothing to do with whatsoever. If there was even a scene where their connection was there, and there was a little bit of chemistry, then maybe her purpose could be there, but there is absolutely nothing that Ben Stiller and Jessica Alba have in terms of chemistry. It's clear that Ben Stiller is a happily married man, and Jessica Alba just can't take it. Like, she literally just cannot take it, and is willing to do whatever it takes to somehow add an element of this that does not need to be there, being the third wheel in the storyline. And her attempts at comedy in here are so fucking terrible. You want proof? Take a look at this.
Right? Andy, no! That's not nice. Don't throw people's phones and fits. Andy, put the clothes back on.
I like that! Whoa!
It's bad enough if I have to praise her and Good Luck Chuck and The Love Guru for at least trying to be funny, trying to be screwballish. That's how you know this movie is fucked up big time. Her character is only there so Jack can have this big misunderstanding where he thinks that Greg is cheating on his daughter, and just like, and there was not one point in this movie where that is even the slightest possibility. But no, we got to have it in there so we can have this incredibly pointless scene where Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro beat the crap out of each other at the kid's birthday party. That's all. That's the only reason we have this in this movie. This is a pathetic attempt to try to create a trilogy that was never intended to be a trilogy whatsoever. I've always had this thing with comedy sequels. The best time to do a comedy sequel is 2 to 4 years. 5 years, maybe. Anything after that, you might as well just abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Because we have seen time and time again what happens when comedy sequels take way too long after the last movie to get made. We've had some real bad movies. We've had some really terrible stinkers. And this right here is definitely high up there with some of the worst comedy sequels ever made. And the shocker of all shock is that we thought we were done with this series after this film, but nope. Universal has already scheduled a 4th movie coming out next November. And hey, we've got Ariana Grande in it too, and we might as well make another movie before Robert De Niro, Blythe Danner, hell, Dustin Hoffman and Barbra Streisand don't have much time left on this earth. Let's make another one. Why? Because Meet the Parents is money, baby. Even though this movie was completely trounced by everybody and nobody remembers this movie whatsoever. I don't get it, man. I don't get it with these movies. With this film in particular, I don't get. The other two, I can understand. But this is the worst of the worst. And the fact that somebody at Universal has the nerve and the audacity to say, we need to make more of this. It's like Garfield. Whoever that is, I feel like Garfield. Whoever made that decision should be drugged down to the street and shot. Plain and simple. But, I seriously don't do that. This is a joke, folks. These are the jokes. But, This movie sucks. This is a terrible way to start the holiday season for, honestly, a pretty lackluster holiday movie season when you really look back on it. I mean, the best movies we saw were the Oscar contenders this year. I mean, we had Black Swan. We have another one coming up in just a little bit here, 127 Hours. What was another one we talked about? Not Winter's Bone, because we did that in the summer. But we've seen all these other... The Fighter was another one. We've seen all these Oscar contenders. Those are the ones that usually aren't the stronger movies of the holiday season in terms of main releases. But this year in particular, it's been kind of a dull stretch. I mean, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows was good. Tangled was really good. We had Tron Legacy. We did have some good mainstream stuff here and there, but in terms of... But this right here is just a prime example of what happens when studios are so desperate for a quick buck. They say, make a sequel, fuck a script, we'll let the film work itself out, and it just doesn't work. So, yeah, I think you get the hint here. Hard skip on Little Fockers. So.
I shot Santa Claus in the face. He's real, and I shot him in the face. What?
Do you want to see my room?
Ah, Mary, he's singled up.
Kumar.
Sorry, I don't date black guys.
What?
What are you doing?
What?
My daughter's in there.
What?
Neil Patrick Harris. Welcome to heaven. I'm Jesus.
Jesus
Christ. I practically run this place. Oh, for reals? I mean, my dad owns it, but I'm kind of number one.
You're one of those.
Watch out!
Who are those guys?
I think they're starting to trip out a little bit.
Those kids put something in here.
Dude, we're claymated.
Awesome. Oh my God. This is like that scene from A Christmas Story. How did this happen?
Oh, is it? Is it like the scene from Christmas Story?
I'm sorry, dude.
Oh!
Just walk it off.
I don't know. Hasn't the whole 3D thing jumped the shark by now?
You don't understand. It makes Avatar look avatarded. It's gonna be amazing.
Who are you looking at?
Merry Christmas. How are you still alive?
What are you talking about?
We saw you get shot.
In that whorehouse?
In Texas.
You branded a prostitute.
Remember?
You have to be more specific.
A very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas. In 3D.
Why don't you take your sweater off? For a massage. Just a couple girlfriends.
Okay. Get off of me! I thought you were gay.
I am gay. Gay for that.
Against the Mentees.
I mean, just that trailer alone just shows you more effort went into making this a good sequel than Escape from Guantanamo Bay did. And yeah, after watching Escape from Guantanamo Bay recently, that film was just a mess of a movie. But this takes Harold and Kumar back on track to what it should be. And like I said, I kind of already did a review for this for Christmas in July. So if you want to go check out my full thoughts on that, please go ahead and check out the link in the corner as well as the description below. But if you want a quick sum up of my thoughts on this, 6 years have elapsed since their last adventure, leaving Harold and Kumar, once again played by John Cho and Cal Penn, estranged from one another with very different families, friends, and lives. But when Kumar arrives on Harold's doorstep during the holiday season with a mysterious package in hand, he accidentally burns down his father-in-law's beloved Christmas tree, and you do not want to mess with his father-in-law because he's played by Danny Trejo. So yeah, to fix the problem, Harold and Kumar embark on a mission through New York City to find the perfect Christmas tree, once again stumbling into trouble at every single turn, including killing Santa Claus, giving a baby the smell of weed, and taking some kind of mysterious liquid at a party that makes them go clay-mated. And of course, you got to throw in your Neil Patrick Harris. I love the fact that you could tell that's the Green Band trailer because of how pixelated the ladies' bras are. When in the movie, they're literally naked. Like, it's just, they're not even trying to hide it. But yeah, like I said, the first Harold and Kumar movie was a great film. The second one was just a clustered mess of a movie where they went too big, go big or go home, and they should have just went home because, man, that movie was completely a disaster on so many levels. But this takes it back on track. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of misses, hit and miss moments in this film, but there are more hits than misses in this particular case of the film. The 3D overall is just so well done. The 3D overall is fantastic to look at. It reminds me a lot of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which wasn't released in 3D, but it probably should have. The comedy overall does work well here. The raunchy jokes are used very nicely, and it's nicely paced, and it's not a long movie at all. And again, Neil Patrick Harris, man. Like, Neil Patrick Harris is one of the great entertainers we have, and this movie proves how great he is, because this is just right after he came out of the closet, and so this movie just says we're going to have the time of our lives, using that as an element to our story, his character in this movie, and it plays in a lot of hilarious moments in there. You see a little bit in the trailer there, but trust me when I tell you, that's the smallest, that's the tamest compared to what he actually does in this movie. But I mean, the guy really does have it all, man. He shines in here. When he's on screen, the movie just takes off to another level. With that said, though, the special effects do seem very fake and poorly done, and the effects are kind of on the level of something like a G.I. Joe or X-Men First Class. They do look very fake at times, but at the same time, though, you kind of are in along for the ride. It does manage to provide both a compelling and funny look at the spirit of Christmas and the purpose of friendship, and also dealing with growing up and dealing with becoming a parent. These guys are evolving. They are maturing, which is more you can say for a lot of different movies in particular, where you have a lot of different sequels where you have people that are growing up and that are getting older, but they still act the same age. The Entourage movie for a prime example of that. But here, this actually does mature the characters, and it still is very funny. It's a really funny, really solid film, and it does a really good job at hammering Christmas into the storyline without feeling like it's being forced in on you. And if there's any new holiday movie that comes out this year that I think is going to get you excited for the holidays, or at least that was back then when I reviewed this for the first time, it's definitely this movie. This is a film that is so well done, so well put together. I love it. A very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas. Definitely check it out this Christmas for yourself.
Adam Sandler is Jack. Adam Sandler is Jill. This November, Adam Sandler shits in your eyes, ears, and mouth. It's Adam Sandler in Rated R for Pirates.
Got a date with Al Pacino? I think Al Pacino wants to play Twister with your sister. Adam Sandler, funny.
Oh, thank God. It was only a bit on South Park. I completely forgot that was something that was completely made up for South Park, and there is no way in absolute hell that a studio would be this desperate and this pathetic to make a movie this terrible, and you know exactly where the joke is coming here.
This holiday season, something terrifying is coming to visit Jack. His sister, Jill.
What are you doing? Why can't I just lay with you?
From the producers of Grown Ups.
Hi, buddy! You're missing out! She's crazy. She's never leaving. Let's go! Oh, my God!
Adam Sandler is...
Please don't destroy my pool.
Jack and Jill. November 11th.
Oh, yeah. It's real. It is absolutely real, and it's absolutely the worst thing Adam Sandler has been involved in. Again, saying a whole lot considering the bad movies that this guy has been involved in. But as you can see, Adam Sandler stars in a dual role as the titular twin siblings, Jack and Jill, as well as Katie Holmes playing his wife, and Al Pacino. And it tells the story of an advertising executive who dreads the Thanksgiving visit of his unemployed twin sister, who overstays into Hanukkah at a time when he's instructed to procure Al Pacino's appearance in an upcoming Dunkin' Donuts commercial. Do I even need to say what's wrong with this movie? You pretty much know everything that's wrong with this. This is a movie that is clearly just Adam Sandler given a blank check by Columbia Pictures and saying, do whatever you want to do. We don't care about how bad it is or how lazy it is. We want to get a movie out in time for Thanksgiving. And don't worry about the PG-13 rating. We're going to make sure it's PG so that families can come out and see your garbage movie. Because that's exactly what this movie is. Bucky Larson was bad. Zookeeper was bad. Just Go With It was bad. This right here is the bottom of the barrel. This is the absolute worst thing ever. There is no plot. There's nothing about this movie that works. The humor is terrible. The writing is terrible. The cameos are awful. And I know everyone praises Al Pacino for this because, hey, it's something that Al Pacino's not used to doing. But I'm sorry, I don't give a shit. It's not what he does is not funny. Like, I don't care that the Dunkachino thing has become a meme. I don't care. It's not funny. The only people that find that funny are people that find other stupid memes that are not funny. It's not funny. That's the biggest problem with the movie. It's not funny. Nothing about this movie is funny. The gross-out humor isn't funny. The voice that Adam Sandler gives to this woman. If you thought that Whitey was an annoying voice in 8 Crazy Nights, Whitey is gold compared to whatever the fuck he was doing in this movie. This film is such a lousy mess of a movie that has no heart to it whatsoever, that has nothing of value to it whatsoever, and stupid people bought this bullshit. It went on to become a hit. It did become a hit at the box office, and it just, I mean, I have nothing else to say about this movie. It's garbage. It's not funny. Nothing about this is funny. Nothing about this is great to watch. All the characters are obnoxious and annoying. There is nothing of value in here whatsoever. I'm sorry. It's just not funny. It's not funny. Have you got the point yet? It's not funny. It's not funny.
Get ready for the biggest movie of the holidays. Critics are calling Arthur Christmas
Who's Santa now?
a genuine holiday treat.
Whoopie-doo.
4 stars.
Hello? Where's the champagne?
Fantastic fun. One of the funniest films this year.
I take the North Star there.
That's a plane, sir.
Arthur Christmas. Rated G.
Once again, I kind of touched on this a lot more in detail in Christmas in July, so if you're going to go check that video out, I'll leave a link to it in the corner. But I'll briefly sum it up for you. This revolves around Arthur Christmas, voiced by James McAvoy, one of the sons of Santa Claus, voiced by Jim Broadbent. The other is Steve, voiced by Hugh Laurie, who makes sure everything runs smoothly on Christmas Eve. But when a child's present is accidentally left over on Christmas Eve, there's only a few hours before sunrise, so Arthur and Grand Santa, voiced by Bill Nighy, travel to bring the present to the child before the sun rises on Christmas Day. And I just really enjoy the hell out of this movie. For Aardman Animation, this was something that they really needed after the last movie they had put out, Flushed Away, was not the big hit that they were hoping for. But this is a nice return to form for them. And this did a better job of doing a CG animated film than Flushed Away did. And it just works because it's unlike a lot of family films that were coming out at that time. No fart jokes, no toilet humor, no pop culture references. It's a timeless Christmas movie. And the marketing, I think, was the biggest flaw of the film because, kind of like with another movie we talked about recently, Happy Feet 2 and also The Big Year, the marketing really ruined the excitement of the film for a lot of people. And this is one they had to really search out for in Christmases to come. It's definitely worth it because everything about it just works. The voice work is top-notch. James McAvoy is great as Arthur. Bill Nighy's great as Grand Santa. Hugh Laurie and Jim Broadbent are great. You know, there's a lot of moments in here that just work. There's no villain in here. It would have been so easy to make Steve the villain of the film, but they don't do that. He's just somebody who's, you know, he wants to be Santa Claus, but he has to realize over the course of the movie that, you know, you can't always get what you want, but the whole movie's purpose is about the family dynamic, and it's great how at the end of the movie, the thing you're supposed to take away from it is that it's not about the commercialism of Christmas. It's focusing on family, and the way it's done is so well put together. The ending, when they finally get the present to the kid, it's just such a great moment. It just ends on the perfect note. And everything that happens is warranted. Everybody that gets into the situation that they're in, is right where you think they need to be. It's just something that just works on every single level. Again, I've gone into this in greater detail in the Christmas in July video, which, like I said, take a look at that over there. But it's definitely one you want to check out. It's definitely one this Christmas. Seek out Arthur Christmas because really it is one of the best Christmas movies of recent memory. One of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. Just top-notch stuff.
Some people swear there's no beauty left in the world.
no magic.
Oh, come on. We've got to do something to get you out of your New Year's Eve funk.
Then how do you explain the entire world coming together on one night?
It's New Year's Eve, bro. We're doing something.
To celebrate the hope of a new year.
My New Year's resolutions. If you can make these come true by midnight, you get these.
4 tickets left, buddy. You called the right guy.
Is that your New Year's dress? It's just something I'm working on for a rainy day. You should wear it tonight.
New Year's is the worst night of all to go out. People who don't drink, let's party all year, suddenly going all Kanye on you.
Last year, I met a girl, and she was extraordinary.
My water just broke.
All of it? You look beautiful.
I've been plotting that slap for years. It wasn't nearly as satisfying as I thought it would be. That was closer.
Good one.
This is the biggest night of my career, and if I screw this up...
You won't.
The countdown begins.
Let's do it! So, what do you think? Somebody's gonna have a happy new year.
Resolution number 2. Be amazed. Are you amazed? Check.
Who are you gonna kiss at midnight?
So you went out for a slice of pizza, right? And you may have just run into the one. You know what that's called?
Insanity.
Serendipity. You don't mess with serendipity.
That's what New Year's is all about.
Is it New Year's Eve?
Is it?
So raise your glass if you are now. And also fly away from the underdog.
Well, there's gonna be more celebrities here than we have.
I'm freaking out.
Nothing beats New York on New Year's Eve.
That's deep, Robert De Niro. Too bad that that's nowhere in the movie. In fact, that scene in particular is not anywhere in this film, which is one of the many flaws of this film. Welcome to Time About the Movies, and today we are taking a look at the 4 films that wrap up December 9th, 2011. And our first film is, of course, New Year's Eve, which is another one of these ensemble comedies like Valentine's Day, where you have the star-studded cast in all these different roles with these little side stories. And if you thought Valentine's Day was a little bit was going way too far, strap yourself in for this one. So where do I begin? This is going to be a long one, so bear with me. Set during New Year's Eve in New York City, this movie follows several people and how the day affects them. Kim is a single mother who still thinks of her daughter Haley as a child who wants to go out with a boy that she could kiss at midnight. Kim's played by Sarah Jessica Parker. Haley is played by Abigail Breslin. Claire, who's in charge of the city's annual tradition, played by Hilary Swank, the ball drop on Times Square. And when something goes wrong, she has to ask an electrician who was fired to come and fix it. Laura, a chef who is cooking the New Year's Eve party for a record company who runs into Jensen. Laura's played by Katherine Heigl. Jensen's played by John Bon Jovi, her ex who's a singer and performing at the party. While he tries to apologize for how things ended, she refuses to accept it. Ingrid, a woman who works at the record company, played by Sofia Vergara, after having a near-death experience, decides to quit her job and asks the young messenger, Paul, to help fulfill her resolutions. I'm sorry, that's not Sofia Vergara. That's Ingrid's Michelle Pfeiffer, and Paul is Zac Efron. That I did remember. At a hospital, Stan, a man who's in the final stages of cancer, played by Robert De Niro, only wishes to see the ball drop. Also, Griffin and Tess, played by Jessica Biel and Seth Meyers, are a couple who are expecting one to be the ones who give birth first after New Year because of the available cash prize, but another couple is about to give birth. Starting to see the problems of the movie yet? We're not even halfway through this synopsis yet. Randy, played by Ashton Kutcher, because he was in the last 2 movies like this. He's just not that into you and Valentine's Day, so fuck it, throw him in there. But Ashton Kutcher plays a man who's not exactly fond of the holiday because of something that happened, finds himself trapped in an elevator with a singer played by, you won't believe this, Lea Michele from Glee, who is one of Jensen's backup singers when he performs at Times Square. Also, Sam, the son of the owner of the record company who is out of town, is trying to get back to the city so he can give a speech at the party, but when he has an accident, since it's a holiday, his car can't be fixed, so he hitches a ride with some people going into the city, but it seems he had another reason why he needs to go back. So yeah, let me just run down this cast list for you. Halle Berry, Jessica Biel, John Bon Jovi, Abigail Breslin, Ludacris, Robert De Niro, Josh Duhamel, Zac Efron, Hector Elizondo, Katherine Heigl, Ashton Kutcher, Seth Meyers, Lea Michele, Sarah Jessica Parker, Michelle Pfeiffer, Til Schweiger, Hilary Swank, Sofia Vergara. There's your reasons why you should never ever see this movie, because good lord, this is about as bad as you think it would be. I mean, if you thought Valentine's Day was rough, you're not going to last halfway through New Year's Eve. I'm telling you, you're not going to do this because... And let's just get to the biggest thing that's wrong with this. It's Gary Marshall. This guy has had a legacy of making great movies in the past. Beaches, Pretty Women, Nothing in Common, Overboard, Frankie and Johnny, The Princess Diaries, Dear God, which most people will be saying when they watch this movie, Dear God. Excuse me. And now, when you think of Gary Marshall's legacy as a director, you don't think about those classic movies. No. You think of the guy that made 3 generically horrendous comedies with every major star in Hollywood and no story whatsoever. Nobody is likable in this movie. Not one bit. Not this movie, not Valentine's Day, and not the last thing that he unfortunately forced into with Mother's Day. These characters are some of the most blandly written and selfish characters you will ever see in a romantic comedy. Some of the reasons behind the characters' actions are so stupid. The biggest one is easily the couple who are about to have a baby. The fact that they're rushing this, so not because they want this over with so quickly because they want to get ready to raise a child. No. They're doing this to win a cash prize. It's not only stupid, but it makes it pretty damn selfish on this couple. I mean, they just want to have a baby just for the money. They don't care about being parents. It's the ultimate form of commercialism at its absolute worst. And it's the cold-blooded reality of real-life parents nowadays. Like, I feel like I work in a grocery store, and I feel like every time I see people with kids that don't know how to behave and all that, and the parents just don't do anything, because that happens more times than you think, I swear to God, it really does feel like these people do not want to be parents for the sake of being able to raise a family. They want parents so they can use these kids as accessories or reasons for self-gain, if you will. But it's just really, really rough seeing it in real life. It sucks seeing it in a lighthearted romantic comedy like this. This is why I never want to have kids in this world. It's just it's just there's so many complicated things there, and that's just one of the many, many problems here. And again, Seth Meyers, I guarantee you, once again, he was calling Lorne Michaels and saying, "Hey, Lorne, you got anything for me? Because I can't do this anymore." I mean, technically, he was still on Saturday Night Live up until he got the Late Show, so I guess he really wasn't too completely looking for work. But the movie just doesn't work because you don't like anybody in this movie at all. They're bland people. There's nothing about their lives that are that interesting that you want to follow them through. It is written as such a lazily written film. Their attempts at comedy is like Mamma Mia levels, where comedy is, I've said it before and I'll say it again, the power of comedy comes from misery. You can't write comedy as happy. You can't write comedy as blandly as this. This is terrible comedy. And nobody in this movie feels like they want to be in here. Nobody feels like they have something to gain from this. You can just tell that the people in this movie were just given a paycheck and say, "Come on in and do this. Stay here for a day. Let's make a quick movie out of this." This movie is awful, man. This is worse than Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day at least was trying to do something with its stacked cast. This is literally scraping the bottom of the barrel. The jokes are not funny. The cast in this is just terrible. They're so poorly written. They're only there to collect the check and get out of here. It's false sympathy on every single level. This movie is the ultimate form of commercialism at its absolute worst. New Year's Eve is awful. Avoid this movie like the plague. I am begging you to do that.
Because Christmas is going to the dogs.
Hey, good looking. How you doing?
It's Beethoven in an all-new movie. Join this hilarious cast, including Kyle Massey.
Where is your Christmas spirit?
And Tom Arnold as the voice of Beethoven.
You're kidding me, right?
I think I like it.
Beethoven's Christmas Adventure.
Oh, boy.
Own it on DVD today.
You heard it straight from the dog's mouth.
Oh, woohoo!
Okay. I know what you're thinking, but just bear with me here, because trust me, this movie is not as bad as that trailer makes it out to be. For one thing, Beethoven does not move his mouth like that in the movie, and I'll just explain that in just a little bit here after I give you the plot here. But this is, I believe, this might be the 7th or 8th Beethoven movie. I can't remember for certain, but there was a lot of them. I mean, I think it is the last one that did come out, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check here just to make sure. Well, it's the seventh one. There were 8 movies, but this is actually the 7th one. There actually is one more that came out in 2014. I'm not going to cover that one, but there is one other. There was one. There are 8 Beethoven movies, but this is only the 7th one of those 8. So in this one, 'tis the season to celebrate with everyone's favorite Saint Bernard Beethoven in an all-new, heartwarming holiday adventure where the hilarious K9 speaks for the first time. Excuse me, I believe the animated TV series had one of the Murray brothers doing it back in the 1990s, so, yeah, you're wrong on that front there, buddy. But when Henry the Elf, played by Kyle Massey from That's So Raven, which should tell you everything you need to know about the star power in this one, it's him and Tom Arnold at the front of this, but he flees the North Pole with Santa's sleigh and his magical bag of toys and crash lands the precious cargo in a suburban neighborhood tree. But when the bag ends up in the wrong hands, it's up to heroic Beethoven and his teenage pal Mason, played by Monroe Chambers, to rescue Henry, and fetch Santa's toys and save Christmas for children everywhere. And like I said, Tom Arnold does the voice of Beethoven here, but I'll give the movie credit. The dog's mouth isn't moving with bad CG like movies like this would, and, you know, I'll give it that. I'll give it that credit overall, and trust me when I tell you, when it does move in here, it certainly is a lot better than other bad attempts to make dogs talk. Remember the days of Puchinsky?
To convince you. Everybody loves somebody sometime. Everybody falls in love somehow. Puchinsky.
No, I bet my audience doesn't know that, because most people weren't even alive when that came out. But that came out way back in the 1990s. That is a real thing that they did. That was a pilot for a TV series, and that was back in the day when, you know, when TV networks needed filler time in the summer. So they said, put these old pilots on TV. We'll see what happens. Maybe one of them will become a success. And needless to say, Puchinsky was not one of those successes. But I digress. But I'll give it this, though. Like, they show that Beethoven gets, like, some magic candy from the elf so he can talk, but it's not done with the bad CG like that trailer's making it out to be. But I'll give it this. It's stupid, but at least it's an explanation of what the hell's going on in here. And I should also mention that this takes place after the previous Beethoven movie where he became a Hollywood star after becoming a stray. And so they basically retcon the story to the point where the Newton family doesn't even exist anymore, and now everybody's just like, oh, hey, it's Beethoven, the movie star. Like, now, as far as the movie itself goes, it's pretty harmless overall. It doesn't insult the intelligence of its audiences like the Air Bud sequels do, and they do keep it in the spirit of the original Beethoven movies, the ones I grew up with as a kid. And it's strictly something for the kids and for the people who want to see more of this character overall. I mean, who doesn't love a St. Bernard dog? I wanted one when I was a kid growing up, and unfortunately that never came to be, but anyone who's not completely familiar with the character himself would more than likely not enjoy this one, but for what it is, it's perfectly fine for what it is. You need something to show them for the holiday season that doesn't feel like it's insulting their intelligence. This will do just fine overall, so.
Animation invites you to discover the secret of the greatest legends on Earth.
Santa Claus. The Easter Bunny? The Tooth Fairy. Surprise! Sandman. You know each other? He's still awake.
Knock him out.
Huh?
With the dream, Sandy.
It's time for fear to rule the world. The children are in danger. We need help. Bring me Jack Frost.
Jack Frost?
There he is. Jack Frost. Santa. Wow. I hope the Yetis treated you well.
Yeah. I love being shoved in a sack and tossed through a magic portal.
Oh, good. That was my idea. Everyone to the sleigh.
There's no way I'm climbing into some rickety old... Okay, one ride, but that's it.
Yeah! I hope you like the loop-de-loops.
I do like carrots.
Here we go!
By me, you have something very special inside.
I feel it in my belly.
I say we pull out all the stops. Easter kangaroo's right.
The what?
On the body.
Let's go! Sandy? Sandy? Wake up! This is going to be epic! DreamWorks Rise of the Guardians.
Music! No music!
Rated PG.
Now, I know the first thing you're thinking to yourself. Where's the Owls of Ga'Hoole? Isn't this supposed to be a sequel to Legend of the Guardians? No, it's not. Sadly, there is no sequel to Legends of the Guardians, and I do mean sadly because that movie's fucking awesome. This one's pretty good too. Welcome to Time About the Movies, and today we are taking a look at the 4 films that make up Thanksgiving weekend, November 21st, 2012. November 23rd, if you want to be specific on the actual Friday of the date, but you get the idea. Our first film is Rise of the Guardians, and it tells the story of the Guardians north of Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, Bunny Mund of the Easter Bunny, and the Sandman, who enlist Jack Frost to stop Pitch from engulfing the world in darkness. The film features the voices of Chris Pine as Jack Frost, Alec Baldwin as Santa Claus, Hugh Jackman as the Easter Bunny, Isla Fisher as the Tooth Fairy, and Jude Law as Pitch. Whenever people talk about this movie, it's one of those films where, it's a movie that most people say is the holiday equivalent of the Avengers. You got all the big holiday icons coming together in this one big adventure, and they seem to be right on that, because, yeah, this is pretty much the holiday equivalent of the Avengers, and it's a really awesome movie, too. I mean, I was talking about how the year kind of started off kind of overall not as good for animated films, but surely as the second half of the year has come along, we've had some real winners here. Hotel Transylvania, Paranorman, Frankenweenie, Wreck-It Ralph, and now we have this film. And yeah, this film, nearly everything about this film works incredibly well. There is a lot of imagination and creativity in it all across the board. The characters, the designs, the settings, the visual effects they put in here, the overall fun factor in here. Watching this on a big screen was so fascinating to watch. You see all this effort that was being put on the screen. Excuse me. And it definitely shows on there. The voice cast overall is really good. Probably my two favorite characters in this were Alec Baldwin as Santa Claus and Chris Pine as Jack Frost. Chris Pine giving a great performance as Jack Frost, but Baldwin alone is so great as Santa Claus. He's really doing something very different than we're used to hearing from it. You can still hear it's his voice, but it's a more distinctive, different kind of Santa Claus than we're used to seeing, with a great Russian accent to him. I mean, not to say that everybody else in the cast is bad here. Everyone in here is perfectly fine in their roles. Baldwin and Pine, I thought, overall were the best altogether. If there was one person in here I thought was a little, not really all that strong, I would say Jude Law as the villain here isn't really all that great in here. If I may paraphrase a little bit of Randy Jackson in here, his villainous role is a little pitchy. I apologize for that, but what other opportunity am I going to do with a character named Pitch, honestly? But I mean, the story overall is very good. It has a lot of heart to it. I love the way, while the the pre-climax overall does take a lot from other movies in general, but it works very well. I do like the backstory they give to Jack Frost. I mean, he's basically given these powers because he was trying to save somebody he knows, and he falls through the ice, and essentially that's how he got his powers and all that. And if there's any major flaw I have with the movie, it's what I said before. There is a lot of predictability in the pre-climax. A lot of what happens is stuff we've seen happen in other kids' movies. The bad guy's going to lie to the main character to be on his side. The main character's going to fall out with the rest of the good guys before he discovers his true purpose. And the main character's going to learn his true purpose and use what he's learned in the final climax. And sure enough, that's what happens in this film, in this moment before the climax, which we've seen it done before time and time again. And yeah, this one, they do it here, and it's not really all that great, but the climax overall is very fun. I like the fact that it's not just the Guardians facing off the bad guys. They actually get the kids involved, and it does lead to a really good payoff at the end, and a pretty dark way for the villain to go out on here. I like the way they took that character out. I mean, I thought that was actually very well done. But yeah, this is definitely one of the best animated movies of the year, easily. And a very underrated holiday classic, honestly. Nobody really ever talks about this movie anymore. You barely see it on TV anymore. And it's hard to believe, because this is something that could have easily been playing all year long on TV. Not just at Christmas time, but, Valentine's Day as well, Easter, all these different elements here. Well, maybe not Valentine's Day, but you get the idea. This is a movie that could have easily been playing on TV numerous times during the holiday season. It did for a little bit after it came out, and then it's kind of faded out of obscurity. And honestly, nobody really ever talks about it anymore. And it's a bummer, because it's a really, really good movie. That one of DreamWorks' more underrated films. I highly recommend checking this one out. If you haven't seen it, seek this one out. It's definitely one that you have to see. Rise of the Guardians is a terrific, terrific film.